day, officers. How come you're back so early? We understand you're committing $6 million a year in time theft, you and your colleagues. Sir, why are you hiding your face? Are you shamed?
Take the camera away. You don't have permission to video.
We don't need your permission, ma'am.
No, you don't?
Yeah. Are you proud of committing time theft against Toronto taxpayers? What do you guys think of the $6 million a year in time
We're
theft?
not concerned with that. All we're concerned right now is you leave the property.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in North Toronto. And folks, what can I say? I'm back to the scene of the crime, and I know it's kind of ironic, isn't it? Because what I'm standing on right now is the parking lot for Parking Enforcement West. This is where all the Green Hornets come back to the hive to roost when they're off shift. And as we've reported twice, there is a time theft scandal going on. Namely, these parking enforcement officers, aka meter maids, should be out for a 10-hour shift, but they are coming back typically 2 hours earlier. A couple have already returned, and it was not even 2 o'clock, so it was more than 2 hours. What that works out to, folks, for the Toronto taxpayer is almost $6 million per year. It has been going on for several years, and apparently it's business as usual, according to our sources. The parking enforcement officers have been told, just come back at 2-ish, as you've always been doing, and don't bother about any media coverage, which I find absolutely astonishing, given all the policing corruption scandals. Now, I've got some other things to report. Evidently, a Liberal cabinet minister rose this issue to Chief Myron Demkew, and my sources tell me Chief Demkew went ballistic, that was his word, about what was going on. I can't say I blame the chief with all the pressure he's under, and yet I have been told, as I said earlier, they're still coming back business as usual. Now, it is just a couple of minutes after 2 o'clock, so that's why my cameraman Petrolo and I are here. We want to document if that is the case. Also, Chief Demkew is allegedly obsessed over my source. He goes by the nickname Mr. Accountability. And it almost seems that Chief Demkew is more interested than the so-called blabbermouth than the time theft. Well, that's not right. We believe that if you are being paid for a 10-hour shift, you put in 10 hours, not 8 hours. But apparently the bigger problem for the chief is who's the snitch, air quotes. Also, another fascinating factor is that, as you can see, we are in a public parking lot, as well as the parking lot that is reserved for the parking enforcement cruisers. And we've heard that instead of addressing the time theft, how about this? How about we move Parking Authority West to a new location, much like Parking Enforcement East and Parking Enforcement Central, i.e. a gated lot where the public can't get access to the lot. And why would that be? Well, because we don't like, pesky independent media reporters asking insensitive questions. Again, that's not the solution. That is part of a cover-up, I would argue. So in any event, let's see what happens in the minutes ahead. We did find one super early bird as soon as we arrived. Let's check out how that interaction went. Hi, officer.
Hi, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. How about yourself?
Very good, sir.
It's not even 2 o'clock yet. You're supposed to be on the road till 4.
Yes, sir. I started at 6:30 today, so I work a 8-hour shift, sir.
But it's supposed to be a 10-hour shift, isn't it?
I work an 8-hour shift, sir.
Okay, then we understand this is a time theft problem. It's costing the taxpayer almost $6 million a year.
Yeah, I don't know. You think that?
Okay.
Okay, if you have any questions, sir, I would suggest that you contact communication stuff.
Sir, I would love to do so, but they won't communicate with us.
Then
Okay.
there's nothing I can do.
But
Take care. Have a good day.
we heard the chief is very upset about this, yet it's still business as usual.
I work my 8-hour shift, sir.
Sorry, I couldn't hear that.
I work my 8-hour shift, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it's supposed to be 10, right?
No, I work an 8-hour shift, sir.
Okay, well, that's news to me. The thing is, that is the stand pat response. Reach out to corporate communications. And as I said to him, I would love to, but the police policy is not to return our calls or emails, is not to allow Rebel News to attend press conferences. So they have an entire communications team that, alas, does not communicate. So in the meantime, we're going to just take a seat and see if indeed the parking enforcement officers are coming back early by about 2 hours, or maybe they got the message. Maybe they've been embarrassed by our coverage. Maybe they didn't like what the chief had to say. Let's see what transpires in the minutes ahead.
You need to get off. It's private property.
I've
Take
paid
the camera away. You don't have permission to take video.
We don't need your permission, ma'am.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Again, there's no need to make it like that. It is private property. We just ask that you go to the sidewalk.
What
And that's all.
What do you guys think of the $6 million a year in time
We're not
theft?
concerned with that. All we're concerned right now is you leave the property, okay?
I have no reason to leave the property. My car has been. You can check my ticket. I paid for parking.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But we don't want you to film here. We want you to leave. We don't want you to stop harassing the officers coming.
Harassing, sir. They're stealing $6 million a year from the taxpayer. Who's harassing whom?
Okay, then you have to take it up in the proper way, not this way. Thank you.
What is the proper way?
You tell me.
Well, you told me the proper way. I'm asking you. Isn't this amazing? They are actually powerless to do anything, folks, because my vehicle is over there. I've paid for parking. It is a public lot. And doesn't this tell you something? They're more interested in shutting down our journalism, exposing $6 million of time theft per year. And I find this astonishing, especially in light of all the scandals when it comes to Toronto policing. Should point out, I did reach out to the police, as per usual, no comment. I did reach out to Shelley Carroll. She's the chair of the Toronto Police Services Board. Not even an acknowledgement on my email. I guess she's too busy, renaming Toronto landmarks like Yonge Dundas Square as Sankofa Square. But I did also reach out to one of the better members of City Council. That would be Stephen Holiday. And he did respond to me, and he said, this is serious. And he said, please have your source reach out to the appropriate channels, which he is doing. So at least there is somebody on Toronto City Council that cares about the tax dollars of the Toronto taxpayer. Everyone else, well, they're out to lunch. Well, as you saw, folks, that was our second early bird of the day, but the moment he saw us making a beeline towards his car, he took off. Just wondering where he would have gone. Now, technically, there is a way to avoid us. There is an underground component to this parking lot, although I do believe they're supposed to park their cars right here where you see these other ones. So that might be part of the game plan today to avoid any pesky questions from Rebel News. Just go into the underground. So we'll keep our eyes out for that. Well, folks, here's our third early bird of the day. It is precisely 2:25. And I got to be honest, I do detect some behavior modification going, because usually by this time, there is maybe a dozen cars that have returned. That's what we experienced the last time. But this lady has parked her car. And this is another, I guess, stall tactic. she seems to be pretending to do paperwork. I don't know why. She's home free. It's time to get out of her uniform and get into her civvies and go home, but I guess she doesn't like our presence. Good day, officers. How come you're back so early? Officer, it's not even 2:30. How about you, sir? Are you proud of committing time theft against Toronto taxpayers? Hi, ma'am. How come you're back so early? It's just 2:30. Sir, why are you hiding your face? Are you shamed? Sir, can I assume you're a supervisor? No? Okay, you got a fancy hat and a minivan. Why is everyone coming back to the headquarters so early?
Well, speak to corporate communications.
I'd love to, sir, but they don't speak to us.
No way.
We understand you're committing $6 million a year in time theft, you and your colleagues. Sir, given all the scandals involving Toronto police, do you think this is a good look?
Communications, sir.
Yeah, you can keep saying that, and I'll keep telling you that they don't communicate with us. I don't think you're setting a good example, sir, playing hooky. Hi, officers. How come you're back so early? You're supposed to be out on the road till 4 o'clock. Why are you committing time theft? Gee, who do you call when it's the police who are the bad guys? Sir, how come you're back so early? Why are you committing time theft? How about yourself, sir? How come you're back so early?
Corporate communications, please.
Yeah, they don't communicate with us. Are you proud of committing time theft against the taxpayer? Now, you meter maids are supposed to be out there till 4 o'clock. Why aren't you working? Is English your first language? Hi, officer. How come you're back so early? Shouldn't you be out on the road till 4? Are you proud of committing time theft against the Toronto taxpayer, sir? You know, sir, given all the policing scandals in Toronto right now, do you think this is a good look? How come you can't answer these questions? Ma'am, how come you're back here so early? You should be on the road till 4 o'clock. Are you proud of committing time theft like this? Now, you know, as a meter maid, you're entrusted with enforcing the law, but you're breaking the law right now. You're cheating the taxpayer. Hello, officer. How you doing? How come you and your colleagues are back so early? You should be out till 4 o'clock.
Any questions you have, you can talk to corporate communications.
Oh, I appreciate that, ma'am, but they won't communicate with us, so... And let's face it, you're the one committing the time theft now against the taxpayer. Do you have anything to say to that? You know, as a meter maid, you are enforcing the law against Toronto drivers, but you're ripping off Toronto taxpayers. Why the double standard? Well, folks, I think my jaw is about to hit the asphalt here because our source was right. It is business as usual, even though we have now exposed these parking enforcement officers for the third time in committing time theft. It is absolutely astonishing to me. I would think, in terms of crisis management, at least in the short term, you would go by the book. You would not give any more oxygen to this PR black eye fire that's raging, but no, they don't care. Another thing that tells me something, if indeed DemQ was flipping his wig about this time theft and was furious about this going on, what does it say that those under DemQ, namely the supervisors that these parking enforcement officers answer to, don't care? This is, I think, about them not having any respect for the chief, that the chief can get angry, the chief can demand change, and they won't do so. And it goes on. Well, folks, we're going to continue covering this story. We understand there are forces behind the scenes seeking answers. After all, what the parking enforcement meter maids want you to do as a driver, you pay your fair share to park your car, and you don't get a ticket. And I think for the Toronto taxpayer, what we're saying is put in an honest day's work. If you're getting paid for 10 hours, put in 10 hours, not 8 hours or even less in some cases. The audacity is astonishing. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. By the way, folks, isn't this cute? They're trying to shut down our journalism with an audio assault. Obviously, whoever drives this parking enforcement vehicle, they've operated the alarm remotely. And I guess they think if they make this racket, we won't report. Unbelievable. But you know what? Can you do me a favor? It's time for this useless police chief to go. Please go to our petition, firethechief.com. That's firethechief.com. Clearly, DemQ has lost control over his minions, and Toronto taxpayers are paying the price. Not suitable.